Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to show you guys how to replace a thermal pad and reapply thermal paste on 3080s that comes with Dell Alienware. I bought 3 of these earlier this year. They've mined pretty well, but not good enough. They overheat a lot, especially in the summer. So of these 3, one of them I've apply thermal paste and I've repadded it, and I'm going to walk you guys through the whole process of doing it and what I found useful. So up here I got all 3 of them running right now. So this rig has 5 3080s. The ones I'm looking at are the 3 down here. These are the Dell's 3080s. As you can see, this is the one that I've repadded. I'm running nice hash on light, so they're all mining with the same power consumption, with the same power consumption and mining at the same rate, 89, 89, 89. That's just on light. The middle one is actually the coolest, and the fan isn't even running at 100%. As you can see, it's about 10 degrees or more lower than the other 2 that I have not repadded. So what I'm going to do is let's shut it down. So we're going to shut this rig down. Once it shuts down, I'll take it out. So the 2 I got to take out to repatch are these 2. So I take them out, and then I'll wait a few minutes for it to cool. I'll take it out, and then I'll go over here to my little desk where I'll be working. What I recommend is getting one of these iFix set with all the screws. I can drop the link down below. And then for these ones, you're going to need 2mm thermal pads. I'll drop the links down below as well. I bought a lot of different pads, different thickness. And then pen and a sheet of paper. Okay, a lot of people I notice don't do this. When you take them apart, make sure you draw the backboard. I'll show you in a bit, and you're going to see why. But draw the backboard and then draw the circle where all the screws are supposed to be. So what you do is once you put it out here, you can put the screws there, so you know where the screws are. Okay. And then you're going to need alcohol. 99% alcohol is best. I like this one because this works. These are alcohol wipes. My sister works in a hospital. She buys these for me. But they're only 70% alcohol, but I've been using them for years. It works, and it's a lot easier. As you can see, I just cleaned one. I'll show you that to you in a bit as well. And then you also need thermal paste. I'm using MX4 Artic right now. And I use Q-tips sometimes. For the last one, I didn't use Q-tips. So that's cooling down. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, so first we're gonna take the screws out. As I said, draw it, right? Draw the layout so that when you unscrew them, you can drop it in. Leave these 4 screws in here. That's the screws that locks the chip inside. So we'll leave that one for last. We'll start with the ones on the outside. These are held. Pressured held, so I always like to do them at least initially. I'll unscrew them diagonally. Alright, so once you screw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those 9 screws out, you should be able to lift the backboard. So there's the backboard. And then I'm going to start from all the way from the inside, okay? So we're going to work on the inside first. I'm going to screw these 2 screws on the outside here. Leave them a bit since they're pressured. Diagonal. This one's very important. So for this particular one, do diagonal. Let me bend this camera so you can see it better. I'll move it up a bit too. For this one, make sure you do a diagonal. 2 rounds. 2 rounds. 2 rounds. For these particular cards, they're not too bad in a sense where once you remove them, you won't have to like unplug any of the wires. They open up pretty easy compared to some of the other cards that we've had it. Yeah, it's a fun little evening exercise. this is just the backboard. We'll leave this for last for a room. I'm gonna move it over here so you guys can see this. This too. We gotta take these two out to lift this up. I forgot to. All right. And then I am going to lift that up and then just flip it over like that because you got the fan wires right there. All right. So now that we're here, this camera keeps moving. A bit annoying, but I'll try to move it back for you guys. Now that we're here, there are a couple things that we have to do. Okay, so we're gonna have to repaste. Repasting is one of the issues that we need to address. Reapplying thermal paste, and then cleaning it off and reapplying thermal paste. I'm gonna take these stickers out because the memory pads are behind here, and this is metal. The memory pads are behind here, so I want to make sure that this is flush and it touches and the metal. I'll add thermal paste around here too. One of the issues with this card is, as you can see, the paste addresses the main chip, but all the memory chips back here are not cooled at all, right? So you just apply some thermal paste around here, and that will address the overheating. Yeah, these are some of the worst cards I've had. For a 3080 that mines in the low 90s Celsius, it can only mine 55 to 60 hash. That's ridiculous. 3080 should be mining 90 and above. All right, as I said, get these. I'll drop this down below too. They're just alcohol wipes. I'm going to start wiping from here. Next, we're going to do the chip. I'll move this down a bit closer to me. We got to remove that. Take your time. Be gentle, guys. Take your time. No need to rush. And make sure you use a lot of wipes. Use a lot of pads. Please do not be conservative on that. Don't be cheap on it. These cards, even today, quarter four of 2021, these cards are still 15 to 1600 used. I saw them on eBay and the 3080s on eBay and Craigslist. Ridiculous. It's expensive. So when you do this, make sure you don't be conservative on your wipes. Yeah, these cards have been working for me pretty well. I've had them for a year now, almost a year. When I originally bought them, I wanted to keep the warranty, and I know people laughed at me. They're like, when I posted it on Reddit, they're like, idiot, put it in a rig, keep it cool and stuff. It's kind of funny because the last month I've been CPU mining, and it's even more profitable CPU mining right now. And some of my computers that are actually still in in a desktop, I can both CPU and GPU mine at the same time. So it's like having two 3080s, two 3090s. So, sometimes you just gotta do your own thing. Don't let what other people say bother you. On top of that, I've had this for 8 or 9 months and I broke even on it, and I travel a lot. So sometimes I travel for 2-3 weeks at a time, and it was just easier for me to set it up as a desktop. I didn't have to set up Hive. I didn't have to repad. I know people run into issues like SATA wire overheating, running on there's not enough power to the unit. There's just so many issues, and for me it was just plug and play. Literally bought 12 gaming PCs, plugged it in. 8-9 months later, I broke even. I actually propped it. My nephew, when I took this apart to build the rig, my nephew sold the computers, the shell. So I actually made money, and now these are just running. But like I said, just do your own thing. A lot of people, and make sure you do your research too, because this is fairly new to most of us. Oh, this one is stuck. What is going on? I think I put it in too hard. There we go. Thermal paste, cap. All right. So what I always do is P size right here. My nephew told me sometimes I do the 5, 4 in the corner, 1 in the middle. But P size is good enough for me. Just like that. And then once we apply it, this is so flush, you don't really need a lot. I'm just overdoing it. And then what I found useful is if you also thermal this. All right, I am back. So I ran out and I thought this was in, but it wasn't. So I have to go to the mail room downstairs and grab it. I bought a Noctua. I've mixed them before. I haven't had a problem, so I'll do the same with this one. I use 2 different ones. Like I said, don't, even with these cards now, the price for this one is still, for a used one, it's still $1,500 to even up to like $1,800. So they're not cheap. Don't be cheap on them. Leave it there, and then we're gonna put this back on. You're gonna look through here to see where the screw holes are, and that's how you can realign them back in. So these 2 are in here, these are in, so let me see if you can see it. You can't, so I'll move it up here. Alright, now I'm gonna start with the 4, these 4, so I'll just lay them on here first. Yeah, with these screw kits, they're magnetic, so it's a bit easier. You can pick up screws easier. That's why I highly recommend them like that. All right. Don't want to lose any of these screws. Don't go all the way in. Yeah, don't push these ones. Once they're tight, you feel it. Alright, next. Oh no! There we go. Do these 2 side ones. Alright, so finally for the last one, it's repadding. So for the back plate, right, this one will go on top like this. And as you can see, they have, I'm assuming it's a cheaper quality. On top of that, they have room here for this to breathe, but if you're setting it up in a rig, you actually got a lot of airflow through the fan, so I've been covering this as well. What they're doing here and what a lot of people will do is they'll try to cut it to fit this. I don't do that, right? The memory chips are here. I will cover the memory chips and then lay this on top of it. And I found that to be much faster, and as you saw from the results earlier, that was over 10 degrees Celsius cooler. So it's very efficient, it's very effective, and it's worked for me. So I'll show you. So first we got to take these off. I'm going to take it off and clean it, since these are old and they're not as effective anymore. So not only do you have to take it off, you got to wipe it down. I'm going back and forth just to make sure you guys can see it on the camera up there. So I'm going to wipe it down thoroughly. Alright, I'm going to put this aside. We'll address it later. I'll bring this back up again. We're going to have to clean these too, okay? Because some of these, there are residue from the old one. So you want to make sure it makes contact with the new one. So gently. Take your time. Brush my light. I'm getting old. My eyes are getting tired. After 8-10 hours looking at a computer working all day, my eyes get tired at night. This is one of my favorite flashlights too. It's $20. I'll actually drop a link down below. I'm gonna pick up another one. I take it camping a lot. 3 function, 1 high, low, and then there's this to point. $20 USB charge. You can bend it backward, you can fold it, you can turn it. But what I find is when I'm fixing stuff, it's really helpful. For instance here, like when I'm in my rig setting, you can just, any metal, you can make contact with it. So, you know, you can bend, turn. It's just very, very convenient when you're working in dark settings. So, yeah, one of my favorite, and only for $20. Alright, sorry, we're getting distracted. You're like, this is 20 minutes and he's still not done. I remember the first one I cleaned years ago. I was so scared. I cleaned and I repasted. It took me 2 hours, I think. Wanted to take my time. Alright. So, that's good enough. This is like flickering. Kind of distracting. Here are the chips right up here. Chips here, chips here, chips here. And as you saw, the way they were cutting it earlier and laying it on here, they were not covering the whole chip. So what I like to do is, let's see, so this one fits here. I'm gonna see, actually, this one could be enough. If I cut this in half, I can fit these chips and I can fit this one. So I'm gonna cut it, not in half, but I'm gonna split it. So just eyeing this. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. See, just make sure you cover those chips. Alright, so here are the chips. I'm going to cover them right here. Just like that. And then we got chips down here. I'll just cover it like that. Now we do know you need air in here, so try to move a bit to the right. There we go. So just cover all the chips, and they can go to the right just like that. Right. There we go. Finally, there's this part and this part, so cut a line again, that long. Turn it over here so you can kind of see how I'm cutting it. I'm using my remote. Now this last one, you can see there were chips here. They only covered the top, and a lot of people would do that too. What I'll actually do is I'll measure this, and I'll cut this out so that the screw holes are there, but it covers the chip, right? Like, why not? Cover your chips. That's it, guys. So, thermal paste, thermal pad, I'll drop all the links down below. Let me know if this is helpful for you guys. I'll do one more. And then, actually, it's not it yet, because I'll after this, I'll record the results for you to see how much it dropped. If you recall, the memory junction temps were 102 Celsius for one of them, and then 104 for the other. So we're gonna put this back in. I'm gonna do one more. I got one more right here. Remember, we had 3. I only did 2. So I got this guy, and then I'll let it run, and I'll let it run for like 5 minutes so it's optimal again to see what the what it settles at. And I'll leave same setting too. I'll leave it on light, so just let it run light on nice hash, and then we'll see where it's at, guys. And always, if you guys find this helpful, please like and subscribe and comment too. It helps a lot. But I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Alright guys, so the cards are all back in. The 3 Alienware cards. I cannot tell you how happy I am. This is ridiculous. Quick repad. You can see they're running, some of these are even green. Their temp are 92, 96, at least 100. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not even running them on light, right? I'm running them on medium, so even it's pushing even more. These two, the fan's even on medium, it's not running at 100. This one though, this is because that's the last one at the end right there, and it doesn't get a cool air. And in here it's already reaching an ambient air temp of 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's why this last one's a bit hot, but I'll leave it at medium. But it's kind of crazy because before I repad it, the Alienware were running at 60. So now if you think about it, with the 3 of them, that's 30, 90, that's 105 extra hash, right? Going from 60 to 95 times 3, so that's like an additional free card running this. Once again, I'll go back to my little station right here so you can see. I'll drop the link down below for iFix. They got all the screws that you're gonna need, as well as over here the wipes that I use. So like I said, be generous. That was for 3 only. For 3 cards I use that much, and then for this as well, right? Draw it out so you know where the screws are, and then I'll drop the link for thermal paste as well. These are the 2 that I've used. They're both really good. Highly recommend. And then also the thermal pads. I think that's all you need. Oh, and the light too. I'll drop all of those down below. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys do it, let me know the results. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, comment. It helps a lot. Helps the channel a lot. Take it easy.